For years I told people I was fine, and the worst part is I believed it.
Welcome to Back to the Garden. I'm James, and I'm here with Daniela. This podcast exists for one reason, to have the honest conversation most of us are having privately, but rarely out loud. Today, we're starting at the beginning with the most human thing any of us like to do. We love to hide.
And we want to talk about it honestly today, not from a place of having it all figured out, but from a place of having actually looked at it in ourselves.
Now, one of the biggest challenges where I've actually hidden is behind my work. I'm a workaholic. I love to work. I love to hide behind my work and hide my anxiety or my busyness. So I look like I'm engaged, but I'm actually hiding behind my work because I'm avoiding the topics or avoiding relationships or avoiding situations I should be dealing with. I'm sure you have a similar experience or a similar place where you hide.
Yeah, I have similar experiences, and I actually hide behind busyness. My self-protection pattern is withdrawal. So when I feel anxious, when my emotions start stirring up, I withdraw and hide behind busyness.
Like, for example, what was busyness? Like, what does that look like?
Just finding myself things to do even when I don't have anything to do. So I'm so busy that I can't meet with people, talk to them, stay engaged because I'm so busy. Which might feel to some people that I'm isolating, which I am a bit. But the reason behind it is my withdrawal pattern.
Yeah, I hide in my work. Very similar. I mean, I look for more work to do to avoid discussing things.
But I also hide from my own emotions. It's not only hiding from other people and relationships, it's also being busy, not to have to deal with my emotions.
Yeah,
So I stay so busy that I don't have the time and strength to look deeper inside myself.
That's so true. Yeah, I do that with work. Basically, my go-to is keep myself busy, and then the work kind of soothes me. It's that when I can get things done, or I feel that I'm accomplishing a lot, or doing a lot of work, or doing just working like a workaholic, it's actually like sauce for my soul. I don't know how to put it in English. I forgot the English words for it, but making myself busy by taking on new projects and new things, it's a way that actually it's where I hide. I hide behind my work. Now, Daniela, when did you first realize you were hiding something, not from other people, but from yourself?
I think the first time I realized that was when my body stopped to cooperate with me. Because for many years I thought I was doing well, I thought I was capable, I was pushing through, and when my body started to say no, that was the first time when I realized that I'm hiding a truth from myself, that maybe I do need support, that maybe there are areas that I'm running away from and hiding.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as you were thinking about my own, how to answer that question myself, listening to your answer. I don't think I can't imagine I'm hiding anything from myself, but I would be hiding it from myself because I know it's there. I'm aware that I'm hiding behind my work. And I'm hiding from actually working on things or growing in that area because I'm using work as like an addiction.
And when did you first realize that?
A couple of years ago, I think a couple of years ago, I started realizing that I'm very performance driven, and If things go well, like financially, then I can relax. But if I don't have the financial security, or I'm not, not delivering or not meeting expectations, or not meeting my own expectations, then I start to wander, and then I get into like a hamster wheel. I get in a rat race, and then a couple of years ago, it's not there. It's not. It's only been a couple of years since I became aware of that.
So, what does that hiding actually look for you practically? What are the signs you said, like running in a wheel? What else?
Well, I would say I'm a workaholic, so I can sit in the office and get things done and be in a zone for hours and miss a lunch and I can miss an earthquake basically because I'm such in the zone. But what I get done in that zone, I get done what maybe takes other people 3 weeks to get done. I get done in a couple hours if I'm in that zone. But it's rare that I get into that zone. When I'm in it, it's hard to get back out of it again. I call it effectiveness. It's effective. It's helped me, but also it's hard coming out of that zone or switching into, being able to take a break from that zone and go relax for half an hour. I just, so so those signs are, it's like from my book from squirreling. It's that, if you imagine a little squirrel around in the forest gathering nuts all by himself. He's all excited about these nuts. He's gathering for the winter and he's storing them away for the winter. And you can see his little furry face all happy about the nuts he's gathering. But in reality, he doesn't realize that other squirrels are stealing his nuts from his stealing his nuts from his little stash. Doesn't know it because he's so lost in the zone of collecting nuts that he doesn't realize that there are things that he's missing outside of that zone. That's just how my brain I think about it that way. It's kind of like it's actually quite funny, and I think I just came up with that. It's a really good visual.
I actually thought about the squirrels not only collecting those nuts themselves, but also having fun. So you're probably missing out on other aspects of life that go beyond work and staying busy.
Definitely, yeah. Because I can be a hermit quite quickly and just get things done. And 12 hours later, it's time to go to bed, Is there a version of there's a version? You said there's a version of you that looks like you're busy. It's a busyness. But do you have the emotions, or are you just in a zone when you say you're hiding behind your busyness? Are you detracted from your emotions, or are you processing things as you're being busy?
That has definitely changed in the last years because before my self-development journey, before my therapy processes, I think I was just detaching from my emotions. I was doing everything just to stay busy, not to have to even think about them, feel them, or wonder what's going on. Now, I sometimes stay busy because I'm already aware of it, and I know, I can detach from it, yeah, but that's definitely still something that I need to pay attention to. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of my self-development processes, I was so detached from my emotions that I had a difficulty to even put a name to what I felt, because I wasn't paying attention to my emotions for so many years. I was just pushing through.
What do you actually think we're protecting when we hide? Well, that's a question for myself as well, because I don't think it's actually about dishonesty. I think it's about something deeper.
Well, I think we're protecting the truth about ourselves, revealing the truth about ourselves to others, but also of diving deeper into ourselves and connecting with ourselves and discovering what we're made for. Because that might be scary when we discover the truth. That was my story. I had a direction I was pushing through just to meet my goals, to prove I'm capable, I'm strong, that I can do it, but I was disconnected from myself, from my true purpose.
I think for me it goes back to my general understanding about shame, because you know, the number one desire of all humans is to protect themselves from shame. And I think we hide, not to be dishonest, but we hide to protect ourselves from shame. If we hide behind for example, if I hide behind my work, or I hide behind setting the high expectations that I set on myself, because if I set high expectations and they're much higher than anybody else would expect, anything that I accomplish is small in comparison to my expectations, but look really good for those people who are saying what you expect of yourself is Superman. What you actually did was unbelievable. I protect myself from shame by setting such high standards that I can never reach. But when I do am successful, they look huge to other people, but they're small to me. That way I protect myself from shame, because I'm over expecting from myself anyway. So when people see me do or see me accomplish, it's not shameful, because I'm always way overboard. I'm over delivering to a point of obscenity sometimes. And it's not about being dishonest. It's just about, protecting ourselves from shame, because we'll do anything to protect ourselves from shame. Now, when do you think that hiding can actually feel reasonable or even wise? It might be wise to hide.
Wise, or when do we think it's wise?
Well, at what moment, is there a moment where you can point to that you said, okay, hiding was completely reasonable. It was actually wise to hide.
That's a tough one.
For me, it's when I'm in situations where I'm not sure of my environment, where I'm new to a work situation, I'm new to a relationship, I'm new to an environment where I don't know anybody, and I try to hide, or I hide behind my over delivering. I hide behind my workload, because it gives me the ability to read other people and read what they're doing and analyze. 'Cause I'm a watcher, I'm an observer of people. So I think it's wise sometimes, because you don't know who you're engaging with. And as we know, I'm an American, and a lot of Americans, you'll hear their entire life story over a beer in the airport. You never meet the guy. You never even know his first name, but he's already told you his whole life story. That's that's the American way of doing things, which I always find interesting. I'm in the airport listening to this guy spill his whole entire life over a beer and doesn't even know my first name. That's not hiding at all, but it could also be a form of hiding.
Yeah, exactly.
But it can feel completely reasonable, based on your history. I think people hide because they're good at it. They get good at disassociating. They get good at hiding because it's protected them the entire time.
Yeah, we get good at it since we were kids, and when our first self-protection patterns started to develop, and we get better ever since. Years pass, and we just get We just become masters in self-protecting ourselves, in hiding.
Yeah. That's. When did you first start to question whether hiding was costing you more than it was protecting you? That's a good one.
Well, that was just a moment when suddenly, after years of just being effective, crossing more and more of my own boundaries, I woke up one day with no physical strength, no emotional strength, with CPTSD, and with actually no will to live. I was never suicidal, but I was just so weak, in such a weak point, that I was just almost crying out to the Lord, asking Him to take me, because there was so much suffering and pain in my life that it just it hit me so hard that I thought I would never get up and move on. So that was the moment. And the second one was when my body said no and my autoimmune disease hit me. That's when I realized that hiding is costing me more than protecting me, because I thought it was protecting me and the ones I loved, but it really was costing me, because I was in a constant state of denying my needs, my desires, and my body finally said, "No, enough." That's when I realized it was a hard hit.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was also my body. A couple of years ago, I had two stents put in my heart. I was at the doctor's office and didn't feel well, kind of felt faint and dizzy. And then they told me, okay, we're going to send you to the hospital. I actually drove to the hospital and didn't know that I was supposed to be taken to the hospital. And then laying there, and they did the catheter, and they wanted to check, basically a catheter in their heart, wanted to check. And then he's showing me on the screen. He says, "Oh, there's a blockage. Let's put a stent here." And then he looked in the back of the heart, a different section. Oh, there's another one. So then I'm sitting there looking at two live things being put into my heart, which was like, a call to action.
A wake-up call.
A wake-up call.
Wake-up call to action.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't help much. It only slowed me down for a few weeks. And then just recently, last Easter, I had been having high blood pressure, and I'm quite fit. I mean, I do a lot of training, and they did a blood test and said, "Yeah, how'd you feel on the weekend?" I said, "Well, I just had high blood pressure." He says, "Oh no, you had a heart attack, because the blood residue in the blood work that they did showed that I had some type of residue left in the blood." I'm like, she asked me, "Did I feel like having pain?" I'm like, "No." And she says, "Well, it's good that you're so athletic, otherwise you probably would have been worse." So that's kind of like a recent wake-up call.
And what did that realization cause? Like, was there any result?
It just caused to start to discipline myself as much as I'm disciplined with work, to take time off, to reconnect and look at those things that, God's using these little experiences to wake you up and say,
little or bigger experiences. Like for me, He really had to take me to a point when I had no more strength and I had to surrender everything.
I'm not sure I'm there yet, but
I'm sure there's more. Like we're talking about this breaking point, so this one I know of, but there's definitely more to break.
Well, what made it safe enough to stop? I haven't stopped yet, so I'll let you answer that.
It was the moment when I internalized in my heart, not only in my brain, but in my heart, that I am important to God. Not only what I do as a woman, as a mother, as an employee, but me as Daniela, as a person. And that was just a moment of an honest conversation with him, standing in truth before God and myself for the first time, and admitting to what I want from life, what I don't want anymore, and just accepting his love towards me. And that was the beginning of a new journey, and just realizing first that I'm important for him as his child, and secondly, starting to be important for myself, which was a new thing for me. And that still continues. I'm still learning to be important for myself.
Yeah, well, for me it would be, I have a challenge because I've such a learner. I love to learn just about anything I can get my hands on. And when I become aware of something, aware of, a sinful side, or aware of depravity, or aware of whatever, I become very directive in I want to solve things. I'm a protector by nature, so I try to protect things. I overthink things, and I forget there's the big word called grace. Yeah, God's grace is something that is really challenging to understand, because it's unfathomable for the human to get something that you haven't deserved. And then to be graceful with yourself is even more challenging. And for me, I was always trying to over delivering and stuff, and always trying to meet other people's or my own expectations. My expectations are always higher than anybody else's. And then understanding that the grace applies to me as well, and applies to what I'm doing today. And to say, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to be graceful with myself, with my body, with my mind, and take a break. And just, I would say, I used to say do nothing, but then someone wiser than me said it's not about doing nothing. It's about enjoying and concentrating on the here and now. And that's very wise person told me that. And Rick also told me, Rick was one of my mentors. Rick said to me, stop trying to put God in your pocket. He's much bigger than your pocket. And I tell him, well, I've got big pockets. So learning to be graceful with myself is probably the key to be graceful with other people as well. So when I hide behind things, it's like a wheel, like a hamster, being in the hamster wheel, just spinning wheels, because I'm getting things done. It's my hiding. I look effective, but I'm hiding from things I need to work on, and I'm not taking any time to work on them. So I'm not applying grace. So it's like a rat race. It's like like a dog chasing his tail.
My personal experience is that God loves us so much that eventually he'll break us in those areas where we just keep running in that wheel, because he just wants us to stop. He wants us. He wants that relationship with us. He wants our freedom. So it's actually in our own interest to stop.
Yeah, it's just breaking those habits are the biggest. And the thing is I'm aware of it. That's the worst thing. It's like, you imagine, you're in the hamster wheel. You know it's a hamster wheel, and you're tired, and you should stop and get off, but you don't. And as you continue to run that wheel, you're beating yourself up at the same time. So it's like
exhausting.
It's exhausting. It's just so absurd, but it's so true, because you're aware of it. I would rather not be aware. I'd rather not know I was in a hamster wheel. It'd be so much easier.
On the other hand, being aware gives you a chance, right? So you still have a chance to start applying grace to yourself and start that journey from here to here, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah. So listeners, we got a question for you. Where in your life right now are you saying I'm fine? And what would be true if you stopped? If today's conversation stirred something, that's not an accident. There's more of this conversation waiting for you inside the garden. It's our free community where leaders are doing exactly this work. You can take a self-protection assessment in the show notes. You can join the free school environment, and it will, this environment and this assessment, it names your specific pattern of how you protect yourselves, how you hide in about 10 minutes. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.